Somebody's got something good. I'm going to tell on some of you if you don't tell on yourself. Okay, I'm going to talk about Donna then. Donna's hiding. So I'm really proud of Donna this week because Donna found a great email list and she utilized our new VAC to send out a listing flyer to all of these people, and she got 6 hits off of it for her 77 acres. So way to go, Donna.
Nice.
So I'm really excited, and CRM was easy to import all the email addresses and everything, because they're and then I made a flyer from there and just sent it out, and it was great. So
Good news.
So we'll see how it works, but so
That's
far
good.
so good.
I'm just glad you're using it. I hope everybody else is going to get on the training today. Today is the contacts training where they'll be going over the listing tools and CRM stuff. So I've been trying to get on it more and more. I guess there's one class happening right now, but the next one starts at 1, so we could all jump on that. So what other good news does anybody have?
Gail and I closed our Sierra Sky listing that we've had for 6 months because we had tenants in the property. Finally got it closed yesterday. And then we're closing one of our tenants of our other property. We converted them over to a buyer. And then we do have our house that she's leaving that's going to be for lease. And I sent it to Chastity. So if you have your people, have them call us, Chastity. We have had a few hits on that.
Are they there, Chastity? Are they still working on it?
They're still working on it. You know, they're just, you know how it is. But I'm working on them.
Okay.
Awesome. What other good news? Who else has good news?
I closed White Ridge on Friday and High Vista yesterday. That was a good week.
Nice. Yay. Congratulations. We've been really busy. I see the board is filling up again this month. Anybody have any new listings that they want to talk about?
I have one coming up. So it's in Paseo del Sol. It's on one of the biggest lots. I think it's almost a 1/3 acre. Beautiful, beautiful, 3,800 square feet, 5-bedroom bonus room, and the outdoor is like a resort. So I think we're going to start at $829 on that one. If anyone has anybody looking for that.
Nice. That'll be a nice listing. Hopefully those sellers won't expect to sell in one day.
No, they told me if it sold it, I warned them that it could sell in a day or two because it's really, really amazing property. And he said if it did, he wasn't going to take the offer and raise the price. So I'm kind of hoping I'm a little high right now, so he'll see. I don't know.
What else? Anybody else have any listings coming or price reductions, buyers' needs?
I don't have any listings or anything like that, but it's back to the good news. I had been really active on marketing through Instagram and Facebook. A friend of mine who I haven't talked to in about 5 years reached out to me and told me that her friend was looking in the Rancho Cucamonga area. And so I made contact with her. She was initially with another agent putting in an offer. And so I just talked to her. And, you know, I just kept encouraging her, hoping that her deal went through. But after about 2 weeks, I kept just checking in to see how it went. And she finally messaged me back and said, you know, her deal didn't go through and she wanted to work with me instead. I now have a new active buyer in Rancho Cucamonga.
Nice. That's nice. It's a tough market in Rancho Cucamonga area. I think Andrea and Carla were working nearby in Ontario, and the stuff was going fast. So you have your work cut out.
Super fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a buyer need.
Okay.
So they can spend up to $700,000 cash, and they want 2,000 square foot and above, preferably a 3-car garage. just a little tract home, and I can't find it. So a single story, it could be Vintage Hills, Temecula, Chardonnay. So if anyone has anything coming up. Cash buyer up to 700,000.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that is crazy.
Crazy. We did 2 offers, didn't get them.
Wow. Hey Pam, didn't you have some new listings? I think you were coming
I have-
online. We were talking.
Yeah, I have 2 coming soon. Actually, one's a single story in Clarendon Hills. It's around 2,600 square feet. And that's listed at $493,500. Really nice property. And it has a tenant in there. It's going to be out by the 15th of August. So then it'll be active. And then I have one in Roripa Hills. It's a big house, 3,800 or 3,680 square feet. It's really, really nice decked out house for $485. So that one should go fast.
Nice. Very good. All right. Any other new listings, buyer wants, needs? I have one buyer need, as a matter of fact. They just closed escrow yesterday. They said they weren't going to be in a rush, and so they moved into an apartment, and the wifey poo cannot stand being in an apartment, so now she wants a house again. So they're looking for like 3,800 square feet. They like Spencer's Crossing. So if anybody has a listing coming up there, pool would be great. They're looking for a large yard. So if you've got anything coming, let me know. They're not contingent now, so whatever. Up to I'd say 550. So let me know.
I have a cash buyer, Shannon.
Huh?
I have a cash buyer that I'm looking for a house where she's probably about 480 or under. Doesn't matter how big it is. It can be small, but it cannot have cats involved in it because she's highly allergic, but she's all of a sudden really super motivated to find a house. So if anybody has anything, let me know.
Where are all these clients coming from for you guys? Are you guys reaching, are you making the phone calls? Are they calling you? Are you getting calls from, oh, that's what I wanted to mention. Veronica Osuna's on here. I just see her pop in right now. That was the other good news. She had done the American Lifestyle magazine, and she got a call from it out in Anza, Wanga. Seller said, I love your magazine, and can you list my house and help me buy? So way to go, Veronica. She's going to be hiding. Anyway, all right. So Rick, I see you're here. Do you have another meeting to get on after us?
Yeah, I do, but I've got some time. How much time do you want me to talk?
Well, whatever. I was just going to have you go first since you have another meeting. Normally I would have you go last so you could pump us up before we leave, but
There we go.
we need to be talking about, we're second half of the year now. We need to be looking at our goals and maybe reevaluating them. Everybody should be tracking and measuring. And if you don't know what I mean by that, that means like, where did all your leads come from so far? And which ones have closed? How many appointments have I gone on? How many phone calls have I made? Track and measure everything. So Rick, tell us more about what we should be focusing on as far as recommitting to our goals.
Okay, I think it's great. I think, this is it. Okay, so we have half the year ahead of us. The real estate market didn't disappear. By the way, if you could turn on your computer, your camera, I'm sure you're not ugly, so please turn your camera on. I know, I love when people have their cameras on. It's so much better to talk to faces than it is to someone's name. The woman, I was just on a meeting before this one, and the woman said to me, well, I've had a bad hair day. I go, look at me, I have a bad hair day every day. All right, so it doesn't excuse the fact that if you're gonna be on, turn your camera on, it's more fun that way. But anyway, do whatever you'd like. Second half of the year, that means we have 6 months ahead of us. That's a long time. And the market, I know we have a pandemic, but the market doesn't care. The market's still cranking along. Your inventory's low. Buyers are looking. I have a woman from California, matter of fact, Rancho Cucamonga, you just mentioned that, from Rancho Cucamonga, and she's on my coaching call yesterday, kind of complaining And I go, she's going on and on. I can't find them. I'm always losing on my, I'm always losing on my offers. And I go, well, okay. So I finally had to interrupt her. Ho, 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 ho. I said, why wouldn't you, okay, watch. If she goes, what would you do? I go, okay, fine. I'm glad you asked me that question. So if I have buyers, I said to her, what would be the perfect neighborhood for them? Like if they could pick one. She goes, well, I know exactly where that is. There's actually 2 of them. I go, great. Call everybody in that neighborhood. Use the hot buyer script in the book of everything. Hi, this is Rick Barabee with Berkshire Hathaway. We just sold a home in your neighborhood. Matter of fact, 4 homes in your neighborhood have sold in the last 30 days. Okay, the most recent was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, sold for $750,000. And I had someone that would have bought that home that didn't get it. So I'm just calling to see, when do you plan on selling your home? Now, I always ask it with a funny, I like being really direct on the phone, but with a smile in my face. So how about you folks? When do you plan on moving? And if they go, are you trying to kick me out? As a matter of fact, I am. I am trying to kick you out.
Kind of like cheesy salesman-y.
Yeah, but fun. You keep it fun. And I like open-ended questions because they require a response other than yes or no. Okay? So when they say, well, we're not moving, I know, why would you? It's such a great neighborhood. That's why I'm calling it. So how long have you guys lived there? And I still go through the script with them. Because I don't know if you guys have known this. I mean, Shannon just mentioned it. We have the VAC 2.0. That thing is incredible. Every one of you should be getting every one of your spheres in there. You should be setting it up right now. Don't wait. People go, well, if everybody's setting it up, aren't we all going to be? No, you're not all going to set up. You're not all going to send in the same stuff. There's so many options in there. It's almost incredible. It's almost confusing. There's so many options. So, so to answer your question, Shannon, how do you maximize the second half of the year? The first thing is make a decision to. Nothing happens until you make a decision. And when I say make a decision, I'm talking about fundamentals. I'm talking about what are the numbers you want to do. People ask me all the time, should I change my goal this year? Why would you ever do that? Okay, why would you ever change your goal? The pandemic doesn't care. Look at your MLS numbers. They're incredible. All right. So I know you can't have an open house, and I know you have to take other precautions, but you can still list and sell homes. As a matter of fact, there's all kinds of benefits. It's a terrible situation. A lot of people have died. That's terrible. But there's always good that comes out of every bad situation. So what's going to be the good for you? Are you going to get better at the computer? Are you going to now get really good on the phone and comfortable with it? I know there's a lot of door knockers out there, but a lot of people seem to have a problem with the phone. This is the perfect time to become good at the phone. Plus, who's going to door knock in July and August, honestly, when it's 95, 100 degrees where you guys are? I know in Vegas it's 115 on some days, right? So you're probably not going to consider door knocking until September anyway. So this is the best 2 months to get comfortable with the phone. Call people. So the first step is make a decision and then get back to the fundamentals. Right before this class, in Las Vegas, we have, and I've had a crazy busy morning already, and I got a crazy rest of the day, but that's the way I like it. And when I was in real estate, same way. I prospected, I went on appointments, I had an assistant, and eventually 2 to handle everything else, because I know that my job is talking to people. That's what I'm good at. I wasn't good at it at first. I was very shy when I first got in the real estate business, and I got better at it. But you got to talk to people. So a woman says to me, I'm on that, we have a licensing class. And here's what I tell them when I start the class. I go, listen, not everybody likes what I'm about to say, but if I were you, here's what I'd want to know. NAR, which stands for National Association of Realtors, right? So NAR says, well, and then I pose it as a question to them. I go, okay, so all of you get your license. There was like 30 people on the call. I go, let's say all of you pass the test. How many of you will still be doing this in 18 months? Not my numbers, NAR numbers. How many do you think out of 30 will still be doing it? 3 or 4. Those are NAR numbers, not mine. So that sounds depressing, but it's a fact. So the question is not, that's so depressing, 26 or 27 of us won't be doing it. No, the question is, how do you become part of the 4? That's the question, right? So how do you become part of the 4? By talking to people. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this for 35 years. I got licensed at 11. No, I'm kidding. I was 18. Got my real estate license at 18. I've been doing this for 35 years. And I'm going to tell you, this math worked then. It works now. and I believe it'll always work. So if I want to sell 20 homes a year and I'm in the business less than 2 years, I got to talk to 20 people a day, 5 days a week, 60 days a work quarter, 240 work days a year. It's that simple. Okay. So if you haven't done that, let's say you're at 5 or 6 and you still want to do 20, is that possible? Of course it is, because the second half of the year is going to be better for you guys. And I think hopefully, I don't know, I just saw this morning, they've got a vaccine in the 3rd phase, and it made the stock market go up this morning. Everybody they've given it to has created the antibody. So hopefully that's a good sign. Maybe we'll have a vaccine by the end of the year, or vaccination, whatever you call it. That would be great. But even if that doesn't happen, we have a system now where you guys can work, right? Be safe, wear your mask, get out there and do what you need to do. But remember, most of it can be done by the phone today. You know, I used to say, I haven't been shot, maimed, punched, stabbed, kicked through the phone. Now you can add infected. You can't be infected through the phone. That's why you want to use the phone. That's why people will talk to you on the phone, and there's more people home and working out of their houses. So when you call somebody and you say, you know, hi Shannon, Rick Barry of Berkshire Hathaway. I just want to let you know we sold a home in your neighborhood a couple weeks ago. So there was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, sold for $750,000, and we have 2 or 3 other people that would have bought a home in your neighborhood. So I'm curious, how about you, Shannon? When do you plan on moving? Any plans? Now, people go, well, aren't you going to irritate people? Of course you are. But are you okay, wait, who's looking for people who aren't moving? Oh, you're looking for people who are moving, right? The people who are moving are very impressed you're doing that. They're very impressed you're working. Don't you know there's a pandemic going on? Yes, I do. But I still have to make money. I still have to have a job. People that are selling computers are still doing that, and cars, and we're still selling houses. As a matter of fact, and then you tell them your numbers. I don't know what your numbers are exactly. I know Vegas because I live here. Every week in Vegas right now, about 1,250 homes come on the market, and about 1,100 and something go under contract every week. When the pandemic was at its height, probably early May, those numbers were down to about 600-700, and now they're right back to where they were and then some. All right, so I tell them that.
I think the other thing about calling people is, you know, we were talking about right at the beginning of the pandemic, just call everybody and see how they're doing. Well, that was March, April, May, June, July. 4 months have passed, time to call them again. Because we just got locked down again this week. So might as well reach out again and make it a quarterly thing to reach out to your phone and call everybody again, check in again.
Absolutely. And I believe there's going to be movement once this becomes a little bit more manageable. I believe you're going to see movement. People are going to be working out of their houses. People are going to want to move areas. Well, if I'm going to get locked in my house again for another 6 months or so, I want to have a different place. Or if I'm going to be working out of my house, I want to have a little wing for my office. There's going to be all kinds of movement. And the interest rates are so incredible that people will probably do that. Okay, so there's all kinds of reasons. You know, if I'm a baby boomer in Los Angeles County or San Diego, maybe I've decided, you know, I'm going to sell my house I paid $35,000 for 30 years ago. Now it's worth $900. Okay, and move to Arizona or California or wherever. So you're going to see a lot of movement, I think. And with the interest rates being as incredible as they are, I think you're going to see a lot of that. But you'll never know about it unless you have listings. You have to understand that no matter what happens, listings are the answer. They really are. Okay, like people will tell me all the time in Vegas and Arizona, well, you know, 8 people are coming from California. How do I get some of those California buyers? By having listings. That's how you get them. It's all, well, no, but I want to get, why would you ever prospect for only 50% of the equation when you can spend the same time and get a 50% increase overnight? Meaning that in Vegas, the numbers are actually better than this, but let's be conservative. Every time I take 2 listings, I have 1 buyer. I sell 2 homes, I make them homeless, right? One of them is going to buy from me minimum every single time. So you always have buyers if you have listings, and you have the best buyers. I call them hostage buyers. I just sold your home. I made you homeless. Now you have to buy from me. All right. And by the way, get a buyer broker agreement signed the same night as your listing for those people. Why wouldn't you? How can they possibly go from being a client to a customer? It doesn't even make sense if you think about it. Okay. So I always got those signed that same night. So you'll never know about it unless you're talking to people. If it makes you uncomfortable to talk to people, good. You'll get used to it. Does it make you uncomfortable to work out? Of course it does. You sweat, you raise your heart rate, your temperature, you sweat. It's good for you. It makes you feel alive. Prospecting makes you feel alive. I'm telling you right now. Prospecting is freedom. All right, it really gives you freedom in all areas of your life if you're willing to be a little uncomfortable at work. And I know people in California are so funny about this. Like you come to Nevada, you know, it's very common to prospect, talk to people, because their average sale price is way less than yours. If they don't do this, they have to sell twice as many homes to make the same money. So they have to get good at this stuff. But what if you guys did the same thing? The results you would get would be astronomical. Plus, you would feel really proud of yourself. And I can give you example after example of people that do this now in California that are really enjoying the real estate business. The real estate business is the best business on the planet when you're making money. It's horrific, horrendous, and terrible when you're not. But it's all, when you look in the mirror every morning, whether you're putting makeup on or shaving like me, okay, that's the person who's responsible for you making money. You already have the best name brand on the planet. You have the best tools. You have the best training. You have the best managers. Now you need to take the action yourself every day. It's called responsibility. Nobody likes that word, but it's true. Just like in coaching, it's called accountability. Everybody wants me to hold, hey, Rick, will you kick my butt? Okay, sure. And then I do. And then you go, oh, you know what? I don't think I like coaching.
I'm
You
out.
know, but, go ahead, Shannon.
No, I said, yeah, they'll be like, can you please hold me accountable? And you hold them accountable and they go, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, not that accountable. No, I was only joking about that accountability part. When I was at Mike Ferry, we used to have a joke. Okay, you know the number one reason people join coaching? Accountability. You know the number one reason they quit coaching? Accountability. I want accountability until you give it to me, then I don't want it anymore. Okay, so look, what this really boils down to is, okay, so does anybody feel like I have this life, but I know I could be living this life? Anybody else other than me feel that way? By a show of hands, and if you're only a name, then I won't see your hand. Okay, so almost everybody feels that. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is only what you do. That's it. What you're thinking and what you're doing every day. And everything you're doing or you need to be doing to become that person, make that money, have that body, whatever it is about a 30 to 60 day period of being uncomfortable until you create the new habits and disciplines you need to be that person. I know somebody that wrote a book about it called Success is a Verb. You may have heard of it. Shameless plug there. Shameless plug. But that's what the whole book is about. Because to me, it's when I go to the gym on the first week of January, all right, and I see all the new people, and I'm like, okay, who are going to be the one or two that stick this time? Because I know by the 18th or whatever the third Monday in January is, that's when you see who's stuck. Because nobody gave it the 30 to 45 or 60 days to create the new habit. They all quit. And these are not my stats. I've read this. The favorite day of most gyms in the country, the favorite day of the year, everybody thinks it's January 1st. It is not. It is January 18th. January 1st, you sign your contract, you pay, you sign up for a year or two, and then January 18th, you stop going, but you're still paying. That's their favorite day. Okay, and I see it every year. Happens every year. It's kind of sad. So I decided to write a book about it. It's not just working out or eating right or relationships or your business. It's everything. Everything that you want to do, it's only what you're doing to get there. So in real estate, unfortunately, well, I think it's fortunate that you're in a business that requires personal touch. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. If you could buy a house over the computer, we wouldn't be here. They want to talk to you. They want you to make them feel comfortable in what they're doing. They want to be counseled. So it requires you being educated and a very good communicator. A very good communicator. Hell, go to my YouTube channel and watch my YouTube videos about the pattern. Having effective conversations is what the video is called. And it's all about how you talk to people. Open-ended questions, repeat, approve, ask the next question. It's really not that complicated to be a very good communicator. Now, it's always helpful if you actually care about them. It really helps. You know, that's why I got in real estate. You know, it's an incredible business. I mean, you're helping people with the most important asset that they own, buying it or selling it. They've raised their family there. They get married. It's a pretty incredible thing. And it's their biggest asset. It's like a package deal. When I started the business, it was selling the American dream. I still think it's that, right? But if you act inconsistent with, remember when people are selling, most of the time it's exciting or even nerve-wracking or a little stressful. Okay, and it's your job to add that quality to it. Take some of the stress away, make them feel good about it, you know? You can only do that if you're educated about your market and your numbers, and you are incredibly good at communicating with people. And you can, if you're great at it now, excellent, but we can all become better, and there's a way to do that. So if you're asking me how to maximize the second half of the year, I would say know your numbers. If my number is 10 conversations a day, I'm going to have 10 conversations with energy and enthusiasm. When I call you, it's like I went to high school with you. I haven't talked to you in years, and I've never even met you. Okay, I sound like I'm excited about it because I am. You know, and people say to me, how did you get excited about prospecting? I broke it down to the numbers. I knew that every time I talked to 48 people, I had a closing. And I knew at that time I was making 30, brace yourself, where I'm from, 1995, okay, when the last time I did this, I was making $3,810 a closing. Took me, do the math, it's $83 a conversation I was making. When you told me to go get hit by a bus or come over and list my house, I just made 83 bucks. And that's how I got excited about it. So every time someone said no, it was $83. It was kind of easier to handle that way. Every one of you will have a number if you keep, like you were talking about earlier, keep track of your numbers, know what you're talking about, and the business becomes predictable. Isn't that a great word? Predictable.
Right.
So you got to know your number. And I would also say you have to have the end in mind. The end in mind means I know my ultimate game. Why am I doing this? Where am I going to end up? It's kind of like, you know, with your phone, you go, okay, 123 Oak Street. Okay, directions. And it tells you, right? Well, you plug the destination in your mind and you remind it over and over and over. Your mind has a built-in GPS system. It'll get you there.
I agree. And I think that's why it's important to not reduce your what you originally set out to do for the year, because you're always going to hit it. And if you change it, you're going to stop once you get there.
Yeah.
You know?
And even if you don't do it this year, but you do it next year, so what? It always takes longer than you think. My son is 16 years old and they just canceled football practice. You know, they started football practice for a week and a half and then they stopped it. You know, the governor and the school department and the coach, and they said, okay, we're going to postpone it, see what happens with these new numbers. So he was talking to me about school and about, you know, about real, and I was explaining to him real estate. He's 16, right? He's in 10th grade. And he was asking me numbers about agents. And here's what he said to me. He goes, wait a minute. You're telling me in Las Vegas, I could sell 15 homes a year and make 100,000? That doesn't sound that hard. He goes, that's like less than 2 a month. That's 1 point something a month. He goes, that's like 1 every 4 weeks. I go, you're preaching to the choir, man. I get it. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Okay. So, and it really, if you think about it, if you want to sell 15 homes a year, what is that? That's like 1 contract every 6 weeks almost. Every 6 weeks. If you want to sell 24 homes in a year, it's basically a contract every other week. Right? If you think about it that way, it's really not that difficult. But you have to be doing stuff in order to have that happen. All right? And that is talking to people with energy, even on the days you don't feel like it. I'm going to tell you something. When you talk to X amount of people and you're fulfilling that goal that you have in conversations, every day you feel incredibly good about yourself and you feel like you've done something of value. See, because I believe every one of us have goals, because we really want to fulfill our potential. And if you're not doing actions every day that fulfill your potential, all you're doing is giving that little drunk monkey, remember the drunk monkey from Success Series? Ooh, ooh. All you're doing is giving that drunk monkey material to beat the crap out of yourself, which we all are really good at. Don't tell me you don't do it, because we all do it. All right, you know, oh, well, you're such an idiot. Oh, you know, the only person that calls you stupid, fat, and ugly is you. No one else does that to you. Okay, and if they do, you should F10 them, delete them out of your life. Okay, so most people don't have anybody like that in their life. Okay, they do it to themselves, looking in the mirror, talking to themselves while they're driving. It's absolutely crazy that you do that to yourself, because you need to become your best cheerleader. it feels weird at first, and then eventually it starts working and you go, wow, who am I now? And you talk to people and they haven't talked to you in 6 months and they go, you're different. Yes, I am. I've been called different on more than one occasion, Shannon. You may find that hard to believe. But like I tell my kids, you're never going to hear anybody say, well, he was an ordinary guy. No, why would you ever want to be ordinary? It doesn't even make sense. So you know what? Pick a number. First off, make the decision that it's going to be a great second half of the year. Number two, come up with a number of conversations you need to have. I don't care if you do it by, direct messaging people on social media and they direct message you back, but then you have their number, call them. Imagine if you're direct messaging and all of a sudden, hey, Shannon, I just figured I'd call and talk to you. That's way better than anybody else ever text anybody and they get a whole different opinion of what you meant than what you actually meant. Yeah, when you're talking, that happens less often. And human voice, whether it's face-to-face or over the phone, has a whole different connection to your brain than just texting does. Plus, it makes you look at, oh my God, they called me. Especially if you're like under 35. That's just like, oh my God, they called me. I must be really important. Because nobody does that.
And I feel like sometimes we can start the connection via a text if we're, if we have their
course you
number
can.
and then pick up the phone. It's easier that way.
Hey, you'll freak them out. Like I had to train my kids on that. They can text everybody except me. I talk to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So, make a decision, have your number, decide what lead sources you're going to talk to and work. You can do it right, just sitting wherever you are right now. Everything can be done from the same room right now, except your physical appointments, your showings and your listings. And even your listing appointments could be done, over the phone. Over the Skype or Google Hangouts, whatever. But most agents I talk to, the sellers are fine, do the social distancing, wear the mask, and it's fine to go over to their house and list their property. Okay, but listen, some people, especially in California, don't get this wrong, but California, when I talk to agents, they seem to be the most concerned about this. So I think your sellers and everything are the same way, because you're going to have a whole bunch of people on the sidelines that aren't going to do anything until probably late this year, early next year. The more people you talk to, the more people you set up in the VAC 2.0 to eventually work with you, the better the pipeline you have, the more money you're going to make. Okay, this is a 90-day business. You work today and you get paid in 90 days. So the more you are consistent, okay, the deeper your pipeline gets, the more exciting it is, the more comfortable you feel taking vacations, taking a day off. Does anybody feel like a hostage to this business every now and then? Don't lie to me, people. I see right through you. Even the people that only have names. I can see right into your soul. No, I'm kidding. Right? But you know what I'm talking about. When you have a pipeline and a computer full of names that are doing something 3 months, 9 months, a year, it's a whole different feeling to this business. So have your number, decide, have your number, figure who you're going to talk to, get everybody loaded in the VAC 2.0. And then I would also recommend in the VAC 2.0, there's a listing presentation in there. Decide what's going to be your presentation with all the new bells and whistles and practice it. So when I go over to present to your home, see, I believe the more competition, you're going to think I'm even crazier than when I started. The more competition you have, the better you can look. Because when I go up against a listing presentation and they have 2 other ones, and mine is on purpose, it's the Berkshire Hathaway one, the best name brand on the planet in real estate. That's not voted by us, that's Forbes magazine. Okay, I know it when I talk to people, they just look at you differently. Now I go over and I know what to say and I'm organized and I drop off my pre-listing package ahead of time. All the other agents just make me look even better when I have competition. But it requires practicing. It's not like you are applying for a job every time you go on a listing presentation. It's what it's like. And it's someone's home where they raised their kids, got married, spent thousands. This is an important thing. And the more, now I have a sense of humor with everybody, but when it comes to their home and the numbers, I am very serious when I do my presentations. I make them laugh, of course, but they can tell I'm all about my job when I'm there. So that's what I would recommend to maximize the second half of the year. It's all about what you're thinking and what you're doing. You already have all the best tools, the best manager, the best, Mark Stark's a great owner. We have a great company here. So take advantage of it, make a decision, and then take the actions every day. And you'll feel absolutely great about yourself. You really will. Even before it starts working. I guarantee you that.
I think I completely agree with you. And I talk to my agents all the time about how I have accountability with you and with Mark. And when I do what I'm supposed to do, I feel wonderful. Even if I'm not successful, knowing I did it makes me feel better.
Yeah, and guys, just so you know, like these numbers we just went through, we have a big management get together every year. We just had one in, what was it, late November, early December last year. Hopefully we can still have it this year. If not, we'll do it like this. But the managers decide, okay, so what do we have a goal for helping you guys. We call it PPP, per person production. What do you think a great goal would be for all the agencies averaged out in your branch? People decide what that number should be, the managers. Then we decide how many conversations, who are you going to talk to? And all of these go down to their numbers, their accountability numbers. Now, the difference between a manager and you is what? What's the big difference? They're an employee. You're an independent contractor. You don't have to do anything. Once they decide, because they're employees, we've all decided we're going to do this, but we don't, they do the things that they decided on were the actions that we're going to take. Okay, now could you imagine if you treated yourself like an employee? No, I got to do this every day. What would happen to your business? It'd be crazy. It'd be awesome. Now, the last thing I'll leave you with, Shannon, is, and that's a great point, so thanks for bringing it up, is your mindset. Your mindset is a full-time job. I don't know about you guys, but my mindset is definitely a full-time job. I know I'm the poster child for ADHD. Okay, I know that. So in order for me, like I listen to audiobooks at 1.5. Like so my son, it turned on from my car. He comes to the gym with me most mornings now. Imagine that, 4 a.m. And then he goes to his football practice after, but they don't have it anymore right now because they put it on hold. But he heard he goes, "Oh my God, is that the Chipmunks?" And I go, "No, it's how I listen to my books. It's on 1.5. I actually hear better when they're talking at a rate that's almost, you almost can't understand it. But you listen to it for a few minutes, all of a sudden, it sounds normal to you. That's the way my brain works. So I know I can listen to a 10-hour book in about 7 hours or whatever it was, 6.5, 7 hours. I like listen, but I am constantly listening to positive stuff because I know, especially in an election year, all right, you can really go to the negative if you're becoming a news junkie. It's just crazy. Why would you ever do that to yourself? Stop watching the news. They don't even tell you the truth anymore. I don't care which one it is. Okay, so don't do that to yourself. Spend that same time doing audiobooks or reading, going for a walk. Do something good for yourself. Don't pollute your mind with the news. It's not even the news anymore. It's someone's opinion of the news. That's what it is. And whether it's your left or the right, you're going to get a different story. So have a mindset routine is the last thing I'll leave you with. Any questions for me today, folks? Don't be shy. If you're thinking it, I'm sure someone else is.
Spit it out.
All right. Hopefully that didn't take too much of your time. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming, Rick. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Crush the second half of the year. You can do it. All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
See you soon, Shannon. Thank you, guys.
All right. So let's talk about market stats real quick. So for the week, the last 7 days, 173 new listings, 343 went into escrow, 223 closed, 1 expired, 45 coming soon, and overall in the 6 areas that I keep track of, Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, Wildomar, Lake Elsinore, Winchester, 595 listings, single family home listings is all we have. So, and that's all price points. And quite a few of them are still in the high price point, not in our normal range. So that was a good class. So Michelle, I know you wanted to talk to us about senior something. Tell us what's happening.
Good morning. Okay, so senior something. So what we're starting to see a lot of right now is folks that are selling their homes that are elderly and possibly in care facilities. So what we're starting to see is a lot of the care facilities are shut down. So we're coming into a few instances where we have to make sure that we're working earlier on in the transaction to make sure that we are properly moving forward for that listing. So what we're seeing is, I'm going to give you two scenarios. So one would be a property that is owned by an elderly person. If there is someone that is in a care facility and it is on shutdown, now a small percentage of the care facilities have an in-house notary. I would say less than a quarter of the care facilities have an in-house notary. So we're seeing instances where folks are having to use a power of attorney. So if they own the property, it's not in a trust, they have the option or the ability to use a power of attorney. So you can't just use a power of attorney out of mere convenience. There has to be a use or need to use that power of attorney. You can't just do it because you don't want grandma to have to fill out all of the paperwork. It cannot be for that reason. So there needs to be an actual reason to use that power of attorney. So if an individual is in a care facility and they do need to use a power of attorney, what we will ask for at title is a letter from the facility stating that they are on lockdown and they do not have the capability to have a notary public. So not a problem at all. We need to make sure if a power of attorney is being used, again, the agents, you see the clients, we never see the clients at title. Escrow sees them for signing of documents, things like that. Title, we never see your clients. We see the junk in the trunk per se. We see the GI information, the liens, the judgments, the bankruptcies, the, child divorce, and divorce situations, but we never see your client. So we are depending on you, the agent, to make sure that if the power of attorney is being used, that that person is of sound mind. So if that power of attorney was done recently and you've seen that client and you feel that maybe they have Alzheimer's or they have some kind of mental incapacitation, we're depending on you as the agent to disclose that. We would never know otherwise. So again, any document that is signed before a notary, again, it would be the notary's responsibility as well to be able to tell, if there is an issue. So again, a letter from the care facility would be fine, but we don't want to wait until last minute, Lucy, and the deal's going to be closing to be able to discuss this. We need to be able to discuss this. Let our title officer know early on in the transaction. So we'll get all of that taken care of ahead of time so we can sleep at night. So the second type of deal that we are seeing that is in the same situation is if the property is being held in a trust. So if the property is being held in the trust, again, you don't always have the ease of doing the power of attorney, because if the property is in the trust owns the property. The trust would have to allow in the body of the trust for the use of a power of attorney. Now, slim pickings on that. Now, usually trusts that are created on the East Coast typically have that verbiage included in the trust. Now, here in California, it's not common. So we need to be able to actually work with the clients together and figure out how we're going to make this work. So if it's in a trust, what we're seeing is if the facility does not allow folks to come in for a notary and they do not have an in-house notary, then we can go ahead and have a letter from the facility saying they don't allow that. And then what we would do is we would go off of the trust. So we'd need a copy of the trust, and the successor trustee can pop up into play and sign on their behalf. So we do have positive reinforcements for both scenarios. We are starting to see this on a daily basis at title. So we just want to make sure. And again, if you feel uncomfortable, I have had a couple agents actually in French Valley office, and they're like, I just don't feel comfortable talking to my client about it. I don't know what to say. I don't want them to get upset with me because I'm asking for, a copy of the trust, or, I don't want them to think that there's a problem. And I don't have a problem talking to your clients. So I can explain to them why we need it. And once they realize that it's for the best protection of their loved one, and they see the full picture on why we need it, I have never had someone cranky. So again, if you feel uncomfortable, we can do it together, Zoom or, Google, we can go ahead and do that together and just create a meeting and do it face to face, or I can go ahead and talk to them by phone, either way. But if you do have the problem, we're here to help you, but we want to make sure that we're doing it early on. So do you have any questions, Shannon?
No, you actually answered the one question I was going to bring up, which was the trust, because obviously we know we can't use a power of attorney with the trust usually. So you answered it without me even asking that.
Perfect. So we did have a kind of double jeopardy situation where we did have a trust, and it was a trust that was done on the East Coast. And on the East Coast, typically the way that the successor trustees work is it goes the eldest son is first position, and then it cascades down from there. So the eldest son was out of the state, and he didn't want to have to deal with it. So he had to resign his position to have the next child move into play. So again, it was totally workable. We're able to work it out. It's just we want to make sure we work it out early on. So, and we're here for you 7 days a week. You know that. If you ever have a problem, you can call me anytime at all, and we can go ahead and work that out. But this is starting to become a normal situation.
I guess I do have one more question. If you have a client who you feel is really not all with it, they would probably need to have some kind of letter from a doctor stating such, right?
Yes. Yes. And we did have one client in French Valley, and she was the little grandma was in the beginning stages of dementia. So she had more good days than she had bad days. And that's fine. Just because she was diagnosed doesn't mean that, oh no, you can't sign the document. We look at the whole picture. All of us at Landwood, we've been in title for a very long time. So Audrey is reasonable, and we can look at it and discuss it together with our title officer, with Dave and myself and our agent, to be able to figure out the best scenario. So if, they're the beginning stages and they had a good day on that day and we're able to sign, that's totally acceptable. But the doctor's note will let us know when they were diagnosed and the severity. So, and again, if they're in a care facility, they're probably already under a doctor's care. So it's not like they have to get grandma up and out. Even if she's living at home and she's under the doctor's care, you don't have to actually go to the doctor's to get that doctor's note. They can go ahead and get that through their doctor, via telephone or what have you, to send that out. And Audrey is very, very good at what she does. And she wants your deals to close just like you do. So again, if we can just have those discussions early on so that we're not affecting the close, then we're in good.
I just froze up.
I've had a couple in the last 6 weeks where the home has been put in the trust, like through an attorney, so the trust clearly shows that the house is there, but then the document was never recorded with the county. So if you do have a house in the trust, make sure that it was actually recorded.
Exactly. So a big mistake that happens is they have a trust created and they never deed it into the trust. So that is a problem, and we have seen instances with that, and they had to go to probate. But if you have a document of putting that trust in that property into the trust, the deed has been prepared and notarized but not recorded. Once that document is notarized, it comes into play. So if they do have it and it's notarized, we can go ahead. We wouldn't suggest at that point in time, if you were like taking a listing and they had the document, but it has not yet been recorded, we always suggest that you go ahead and give us that document so that we can record that through the closing. Because we have instances where maybe you take a document down to the county. Actually, the Riverside County Recorder's Office is closed again. So
Yeah, I
everything
was
that is
just gonna
done.
say, we've been trying to get ours recorded since March. And the office has been closed except for being open like for a week, and then he closed again.
Are you going to be in the office today?
No, but our lawyer has it. He's ready. He's just waiting. He had an appointment to go in there with it, and he just they closed out and canceled his appointment again.
Okay, so if you have that document and it's notarized and ready to go, if you can get that to me, if you'll just reimburse us or write a check for the recording fees, I can go ahead and have that recorded through Landwood.
It's a complicated transfer. So he wants to talk to the recorder. So that's why we're waiting.
Okay.
It's weird.
Complicated.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're here if that's ever an issue, because we scan directly from Landwood. We scan our documents directly to the county. So if that is ever a problem, we can go ahead and help out. The only thing we cannot take liability on for that is a deed of trust. So if it's a deed or a quitclaim deed or something like that, and it has to do with you as an agent, or if you have one of your top clients that needs something, you know, with the situation that way that it is, you know, we can accommodate, and then we would go ahead and just let them know how much it would cost to record with the county. They can go ahead and write a check, and then we can go ahead and process it from Landwood. So no worries there if you need a plan B. But I will be in the office this afternoon, early afternoon. So I'm going to finish up here, and then I'm going to hop in the car and drive on out. And then that way we'll be good to go. So if anyone has any needs, you can send me a text and we can meet up at the office. I'll wear my mask, I promise. And then I am bringing masks in for you, Shannon. I have a few packs for you so that you can have some on standby at the office as well.
Great. I just
So
bought a
thank you
couple
guys for
boxes
your
too.
time.
Thanks for coming and explaining that. It was really helpful.
Perfect. And I'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so one more thing I want to talk about before I let you guys go. It's very quick. Remember I talked about the new forms that were coming out in June. Not this one. I don't want to talk about that one. Hold on, I want to find the form to show you. But I have to share my screen. Well, we're going to be doing the Zoom training tomorrow at 10 a.m. so you all can learn how to share your screen. If in case you have to do a video conference with anybody. So I just want to let you know of all the forms that were brand new that came out, our broker Forrest has decided that just this square footage and lot size disclosure is going to come into play effective August 1st. So this will be a seller disclosure. The way I read it is that we would fill in the square footage and lot size from wherever we gained the information, and everybody would sign it. So the seller would sign it and the buyer would sign it. And this mostly came about for those of you who are familiar with the Coldwell Banker lot size lawsuit that happened, just to remind buyers that, you know, it is their responsibility also to verify these things. If we say we got it from public record, they probably still want to have it surveyed. This will, like I said, will come into effect August 1st, and it will only be for new files from that point forward. You will not have to go back and have sellers fill these out. It's just new stuff. So that's that. And then I guess last but not least, and Adrian, do we want to pick a book club date yet, or are everybody's still working on it?
I'm finished, so it's a great book. I cried.
I'm finally listening on audio. I had to resign to audio.
It's so good, but yeah, so we can pick a date, or if people are still reading, we can put it off a little.
It looks like some of our normal book club readers are not on right now, so maybe I'll do a survey. I'll send out a text message. Maybe we can choose like in a week or so, maybe a week or two.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, and then, so don't forget today is VAC training number 2. It's all about CRM and utilizing those tools. If you guys need help with any of those, I can tell you, I probably email the education department every single day on something. They are not going to get offended for something that is missing or you can't find it or whatever. So just email them. You don't have to, and don't wait for me. Don't wait to tell me so that I do it. You could do it directly too. I know we are still missing some zip codes and things like that. And now that all 3 states are on, we can start, hopefully the builder of the program will start incorporating those things. So anybody else have any other announcements? Nope. Okay, you guys have a great week. And I'm here for you if you need me. Call, text, email, Zoom. See you.
Bye.
Bye.